Well, still battling on with the roof. Our roofs, I haven't started that one yet, but this one's coming along. But I'm not going to finish it as a felt roof. I'm going to slate this one, I think. So, even though I got the wrong felt on, you know, I thought about it and I thought, you know, every couple of years you're having to sort these problems out. So, stuff it, felt it as you was going to, and then slate it. So that's what I'll do, and I should look alright. But while I'm here, I thought, yeah, remember the old days. Them views is like something out of Coronation Street to me. It hasn't changed, hardly at all. Kids playing in the gardens, washing hanging on the line. I'll share a memory. In fact, I'll share two memories. One, my house there, and that house down by there with the grey washing at the end. And you can't replace these memories. You know, once you've got them, that's it. And to be able to not relive them, I think, is so sad. Anyway, I've just had that double glazed door the house, so we had some French doors put in by there, and that never used to be French doors. It used to be just a normal window. I can remember one winter's morning, and below that window was a settee, and my mother got me out of bed. That was my bedroom there. That one there, and I hadn't looked out the window, and she picked me up, put me on the sofa and said, have a look out there. I was only a top, maybe 2 years, 2.5 maybe. So I peered over the top of the sofa out the window, and wow, everything was pure white. And I said, what's that, Mum? She said, that's snow. Snow. I want to see it. And she picked me up, put me back down on the floor, and I came out to the door at the back, touched it and poked it, and thought, wow, this is good. And you never forget them feelings, you know. You see that for the first time, snow, and then you're out in it and you're playing in it, and you realise you can slide on it and make snowballs and snowmen, and them feelings, you know, that you get, they never go away. So that was the first time I ever saw snow. So roughly about where them handles are, imagine a little face popping up over a windowsill, and eyes brightening up, looking out, wondering, what's that? First time I ever saw snow. Well, this one I've got to get right, because if I don't, you won't get the punchline. So the other day I shared a picture of a jetty on the River Usk, and I said a guy called David Linton used to go fishing there with me. Well, that's where he used to live. And I got a strange story, because I didn't know he got ill. He was always a little bit weak. He's one of them kids you think, you know, they are weak. And he stayed at home and never got married or anything like that. Even though all the kids in the street went up and left home and went to work and got their lives together, he always seemed to stay with his parents at the house there. Well, I'm going back maybe about 14 years now, something like that. And me and Tracy went to see a guy called George Smith, a medium. And he was quite a famous medium actually. He used to do shows and everything. In fact, we went to see him in the Congress once. And I hadn't met this guy George Smith before. And I remember when I booked the mediumship booking with him, you know, I had this image of him being like this fairly plumpish guy with a shirt and tie on and all that. But when I went to his house and I saw him on the doorstep, he was a spitting image of old man Steptoe, or Steptoe and son, you know, this raggedy old guy. But it didn't take long before looks were deceiving, because he was good. But I remember early on in the session, I mean, he really did open my eyes, but it's the next part that really opened my eyes. He said, "Oh, I've got somebody here from your younger days who hasn't long passed over." He said his name's David. And he's saying hello, and he likes your partner. He's saying hello to your partner as well. Tracy, like, she was there. And I thought, well, I don't know any David. I've known a few Davids through my life in school and whatever. I didn't know any David that had passed over, you know. And I said, well, I don't know any David that's passed away, especially school friends, you know, younger days. Sorry, I can't do anything with that one. He said, well, okay. He said, take it with you. He said, and see if it comes up in the future, you know. But there is a David here and he's saying hello. Okay. So I left that session. And do you know what? It was around about 2 weeks later. That noise you hear is the railway lines, the trains, just down behind there. Roughly about 2 weeks later, I came down here to see my dad. And he said, "Hey, Gare, remember David, 3 doors down?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, I've seen his parents." Now, I hadn't known that he'd moved, actually, but he had moved. All of them had moved, his parents and him. He said, "I've seen his parents in Weatherspoons in the week." He said, "David passed away. He had a weak ticker, you know, weak heart, and he's passed on." Wow. What can I say? I mean, what can you say? I didn't know any David that had passed on. 2 weeks later, I found out one of my childhood friends had passed on. Amazing. Bloody dogs. It's kind of strange when I think back on that. Because, you know, I always had this thing where I used to think mediums were very good at reading your mind, you know. But if you don't even know yourself, you can rule that one out. So, you know what I mean. I mean, you go there and your mother's passed away, your dad's passed away, and a few slimy questions slipped in you and there, and they get a gist of what's going on. That definitely was not the case. In fact, this George Smith was so unbelievably spot on with things that nobody would have known. But the David part, well, that blew me away. I gotta admit, that was 14 years ago, that blew me away. Sorry about the dogs barking, they're all around me. Anyway, I better plod on with this roof. There's 2 stories for you. Seeing snow for the first time and getting told about David passing away, and well, who knows?